Tonight we're going to do something really special on Cult Pop. We're going to take a look at Consortium of Genius, a group of folks you'll find on the web, part live musical act, incredible science fiction show with some of the most incredible effects you'll see on the web. So stay tuned for Cult Pop. All right, welcome back to Cult Pop. I'm your host, Jim Hall, and one of the things we like to do, Jerry and I, is we get on the internet and look for some cool things going on all over the World Wide Web. Jerry pointed out something unbelievable. COG. Some crazy stuff going on in New Orleans with some doctors attempting to take over the world. We're doing another interview like we did a few months back. We've got our phone line set up, they've got their phone line set up, and we're down in the great town of New Orleans, and we've got some mad scientists, the geniuses behind COG, Consortium of Genius, Dr. Pinkerton, Dr. A. Arachnid, and Dr. Z are with us today. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being on the show.
Hello, how are you doing?
Thank you for having us.
Idiot! You're interrupting an extremely important experiment.
Oh, God.
Yes, this experiment, we were trying to actually take over your show using my patented neural net here. And it would seem you've cut free of the net, and now it's all tangled up. Idiots!
I'll untangle it.
No, you fool!
Oh, no.
You ruined it! Ruined it again.
Doctors, I feel I've got to break in. When I discovered you on the internet and all the goings on in New Orleans, I was a little intrigued and maybe concerned about what I'm reading as a plan to take over the earth. Why don't you tell me a little bit about these plans?
Yes, the goings on in New Orleans, of course, are our fault. Indeed, this hurricane that you misidentified as Katrina, that was Hurricane Filbert, which was caused by us. And of course,
caused by Filbert, of course.
Yeah, shh, quiet. We'll take responsibility for any deaths, destruction, anything you want to whip out of the old brain cage there. But we are actively seeking world conquest right now using our latest equipment.
Very, very interesting. I've got to tell you, when you visit the website and when you watch your programs, there's an incredible amount, and I mean an incredible amount of inventions that you three doctors have come up with. And some of them are quite spooky, from helmets to time travel doors and all kinds of things. Why don't you tell us a little bit about some of these magnificent creations of yours?
You don't know the half of it. We've invented most inventions in the history of humankind.
That's right.
Utilizing our greatest invention, of course, the time door, which allows us to go back in time and invent things that were thought of later, thereby accruing the patent money and so forth. It's a very lucrative line of business.
Didn't that thing kind of go a little bit awry?
Shh, quiet. You idiot, we're trying to impress here.
They don't need to know anything about those.
No. Keep it under your hat.
Dr. Pinkerton, I know that one of the ways you plan to take over the world is through your videos. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Ah, yes, the video sonic waveforms, which we, almost involuntarily, bring forth, as it were. You see, here on my right-hand man, Dr. Z, and on my left, Dr. A. Arachnid, master of the six-stringed instrument of destruction. And we have a certain sort of cult pop following, as it were, to coin a phrase, of people who are interested in our breakthroughs and will often accompany us on our endeavors and adventures and tape our every move, as it were. Some of which have ended up on the internet.
Now, doctors, if I understand correctly, are we not going to look at one of these wonderful video inventions now?
Well, you see, I have actually prepared a short clip for you right now, detailing my greatest accomplishments, as it were. Go ahead and roll it, and we'll get back to you in a second. My greatest accomplishments. In 1997, I created Drumbot. In 2000, I broke up Microsoft into a zillion pieces. In 2003, I pledged to eliminate the moon problem, of which you are no doubt aware. And then in 2005, I hypnotized the entire Earth, and you didn't even notice. And then, in 2007, I utilized my death lasers to split the Earth in twain, unleashing a cuddly purple demon from which the world may never recover. I am Dr. Pinkerton, and I approve of this evil.
Well, that was quite an amazing invention right there, doctors, I must say. One thing I want to mention, though, Dr. Pinkerton, I must say that your hairdo is quite inspiring to some of us around the nation. Could you talk a little bit about the wonderful look that all of you bring to your mad scientist ways?
Yes. Long, flowing scientific hair. It is the goal of every researcher, as I know. Save a few. But those who do not yet possess this incredible benefit that nature has bestowed so naturally upon myself can always augment it using my own scientific principles. I refer to none other than Dr. Pinkerton's amazing hair formula for scientists, which is now available in pharmacies worldwide.
Yes, roll some commercials. We'll let you know what's going on with that, yes.
Yes. Check it out.
Are you experiencing science pattern baldness? Is hair loss getting in the way of your important research? Have your experiments been failing due to falling follicles? Now, there's an answer.
The Consortium of Genius presents Dr. Pinkerton's Hair Club for Scientists.
Simply take 15 of the specially formulated, scientifically enhanced hair regenerating pills a day, and in a few months, you'll experience a level of hair growth unheard of since 1987. Warning, do not exceed daily recommended dosage. And robots appreciate it too.
Thanks, Dr. Pinkerton. Can I go now?
Our products are tested extensively on cute, furry little animals, so we know they'll be safe on you.
Squirrel, are you going to submit quietly, or are you going to have to return your hands
Get me out of here! I'm being back into society!
Prolonged use may lead to dizziness, trouble breathing, and loss of sight. Consult your physician to find out whether Pinkerton's hair formula for scientists is right for you, especially if you are just a guy dressed up as a scientist.
Pinkerton Hair Formula for Scientists is scientifically proven to regrow hair against both the divine intent of the Almighty and the mighty forces of nature, or your money back.
And remember, not only am I the president of the Hair Club for Scientists, but I'm also a scientist!
Also available, Hair Club for Mad Scientists.
And not only am I a scientist, but I'm also a mad scientist!
To order, simply pick up the phone and dial any number. We'll eavesdrop on your phone call and rush you a bottle of Pinkerton's Hair Formula for Scientists. Offer not valid in Transylvania or legal in all 50 states. Supplies limited. Order today or face the horrible, horrible consequences.
Okay, gentlemen, well, that's quite amazing. Now, Dr. Z and Dr. Arachnid, I know you've got your own quite unique looks, and I hear that the women find them quite amazing. In fact, I hear the women find all three of you quite just amazing men.
Yeah, they
Tell
tend
me
to
about
drop
that.
dead for me.
Oh, yes, and they tend to join my harem in droves. Yes, they're following me around. They're joining my cult of personality. They're very good. Very good.
Pay no heed to what he's saying. He's obviously conflating certain details which are best left unmentioned.
Speak for yourself.
So, doctors, let me ask you one thing that's been troubling me, and even more so now that we've had this opportunity to talk.
Speak! Dr. Pinkerton knows all. I can diagnose any ailment known to man.
Well, doctor, how would you say your goal to take over the world is coming along right now? How do you feel the three of you are doing on that goal of yours?
Why, we're doing quite well. In fact, probably 17% better than we were last week. Every day brings forth a new breakthrough, Dr. Z. What are you doing? Stop that. Stop dawdling. Yes,
Another one of the brains.
we're scheduled to take over the world any day now. As long as these two idiots don't abort the procedure again, as they have been for quite some time.
Now, Dr. Pinkerton, it would seem to me that as Consortium of Genius, you should be able to pin down an exact date for the takeover of the world.
Yes, well, yes, the Dr. Z has had a hard time keeping track of the digit order, as it were. It was supposed to be 2003, and then it was supposed to be 2030, and then now he's saying it's sometime around 3002. Isn't that right?
No. You carry the 3 and add 2 behind the 1.
I don't know why I continually surround myself with people whose main goal seems to be to keep me from taking over what is rightfully mine. Whatever. Mark my word, though, it'll happen soon enough.
Well, I must say I've always been bad with math, but I'm quite surprised that 3 geniuses are having such trouble with math. But I know that you've got one more experiment or some type of scientific discovery that you want to pass on to us on a video, don't you, gentlemen?
Ah, excellent. Well then, let's see now, what do we have left?
Zombie summoning?
Zombie summoning. Yes, that seems like a good enough method. Dr. Arachnid...
Yeah, well, saying women drop dead for me was a little inaccurate a statement. It's more the other way around. You see, they're already dead. And through the use of this beautiful parchment here, known to all as the Necronomicon Book of the Dead, I've been known well to, rather adjust their condition, as it were.
Go ahead and roll the clip. It'll make perfect sense, I'm sure.
Dr. Pinkerton, I think the natives are getting restless.
Hey, Dorkface, we paid good money to get in here and hear some music, not to be bored to death.
We came here to see Egg Yolk Jubilee. Bring them back.
They're dead! How could anyone bring them back?
But doctor, where science has failed, sorcery shall succeed. Klaatu, Barata, Necto. 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 There, just what the doctor ordered.
This is not exactly what this doctor had in mind.
What have you done? Not only is using Canadian black magic to reanimate the dead terribly dangerous, but it is also quite morally wrong!
And they look hungry too. Look, there are some tasty brains right out there. Go get them, boys.
Doctors, all I can say is the more I see of you, the more I'm impressed. But I must say mad genius does come to mind. But the term mad more than genius. I am impressed, though, with what I'm seeing. What other strange and bizarre phenomenon have you been dealing with? And what do you say to the naysayers out there who don't necessarily think you're geniuses?
Let me tell you, you can consider us well armed with science on our side, as it were. I'd like to call out anyone who would attempt to stop us from taking over the world. That includes all you musical bands out there and other so-called scientists. Any of you who would attempt to stop us, just look what's in store for you. We have a clip prepared for that too. Go ahead and roll it. Oh, and if you want to see more, go to www.consortiumofgenius.com and see what lies in store for you. Ha! Good luck stopping us! We're unstoppable! You cannot stop us! Roll the clip, Dr. Z! Quite nice. Excellent. Quite nice. Now then. Ladies and gentlemen, you will step aside in the name of science!
Who the hell are you?
Let me put it to you like this. Close your eyes. Picture an iron boot stomping on a human face for all eternity. With rhythm! Now let me put a name to that image. The Consortium of Genius! Gentlemen, attack!
Just aim for the head. Yes, that's perfect. I love the smell of frying eggs in the
Got the weapons?
No, I left my laser guitar at home. Let's get out of here.
Victory is mine!
Dr. Pinkerton.
All right, Dr. Z. Victory is ours! But, nevertheless...
Well, now we've seen that final video, we know we're dealing with some extraordinary madmen. Geniuses, if you will. Now let's meet the actual men behind the geniuses. Gentlemen, why don't you introduce yourselves and let us know a little bit about yourselves.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm Louis Diobin. I'm probably the founding instigator here, the guy to blame for it all. On my right, we've got Jim Fairchild.
Hello.
And on my left, we've got Ed Muriel, guitarist.
Okay, well, guys, I guess the first question I need to ask is, I absolutely love what I'm seeing. I see when I go to the website and when I watch your videos, a TV show, a web show, musicians, a great band. What exactly is Consortium of Genius?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it was described to me by an outsider once as we're pretty much just a stage show with our own soundtrack.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Actually, it's an outlet for everything we like to do. For anything that we're interested in or already fond of, like science fiction and special effects and pop culture. It all just boils into this big blob we call a cog, and
Another stuff our parents never let us do in the house when we were little kids.
pretty much, yeah.
And it's definitely the most fun band you could ever imagine being in. You know, you start off with the band aspect of what you do in every band, you know, writing and performing music, and then you add on top of that the acting, the filmmaking, you know, and everything else, and it just, you know, takes on a whole nother aspect and becomes completely insane.
Yeah.
So we actually are mad.
Well, fellas, how long have you actually been around?
Well, the band actually existed as a stage show since '96, and before that, it was a studio project. I've been doing sound for bands since 1988, and experimenting with sound before then in high school. And me and my best friend in high school started writing all this crazy music, and we'd record it. I would utilize a lot of the musicians that I would have on recordings I was doing for other bands. And in '93, I put out a cassette with a bunch of stuff on it, some of which we still play today. And then a few years later, I saw a couple bands that had theatrics in their shows, and that got me really thinking about what I could do, because I didn't see anybody else locally doing that. And so the first version of COG came to be.
Okay, fellas, before we get too far ahead, let's tell folks about your website and all the stuff you can see, clips of the band in action, episodes of your show. Just, it's an amazing site, even a button that absolutely warns you, don't touch this button. Tell us a little bit about the website and where folks can find out more about you.
The website's pretty deep, if a little bit crude. It's been just glommed together over the years, ever since, I think, '97, right?
I think so.
In fact, I think there's even a version of the old website up on there.
Yeah, under
Concealed.
Do Not Touch.
Shh, quiet. Concealed somewhere.
Oh.
And
Right.
and so yeah, we basically just keep caking more and more stuff onto the website.
Now, for folks down in the southern area that are seeing this on the internet, you tour pretty regularly down there in New Orleans, don't you?
Not so much anymore.
Not so much.
Been spending so much time working on a television
Right.
show lately that we really, every 3 or 4 months we need to, get out there and play, because we drive ourselves crazy if we don't.
Gonna go stir crazy in here.
But aside from that, no, we every couple of months we'll put together a show and play it around a little bit, but that's about it.
We'll get invited to do things now and then, and of course, when we release the TV episode, we'll usually try to do a pre-release party with the band that we did the show with,
Right.
in a live venue.
Okay, cool. People that are watching the show now, they saw these wonderful special effects about 10 minutes ago. They saw you folks in all kinds of wonderful movements. Now you're just in front of this blank screen. Tell us a little bit about the technology that makes your show fly.
That was all real. No, I'm kidding.
No, our studio is actually a full working musical studio and a
Soundstage.
Soundstage, if not a small one. Yeah, but we do have a blue screen wall, as you can see behind us. We've got floating walls for the audio aspect. We've got everything set up ready to record, film, or music.
I could show you.
You should give him a tour. Give him a quick tour of the studio.
Well, fellas, while we're doing the tour, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention one of my favorite characters in your show, and that's the crazy robot. Tell us about the Dr. Robot.
Oh, Drumbot.
Drumbot, well, let's see. Drumbot would be behind that set of drums there if he were here, but he's not. Yeah, Drumbot. Drumbot is,
His mom and dad.
Drumbot's a bastard. He never shows up for any practices. He never helps to haul stuff in and out, and yet he gets all the chicks. He gets all the fan mail.
He gets all the hot lawnmowers.
let's see. Yeah, Drumbot. Drumbot was an old idea that me and an animator came up with, a friend of mine in college. And basically, Drumbot is somewhat of a surrogate for me. It allows me to play the drums and sing at the same time, even have guest drummers in to play on certain songs. So yeah, Drumbot is basically an excuse so that we can use all the MIDI technology up on stage without having to have it track a real drummer. And also, we don't have to put up with the personality problems of a real drummer.
Well, the character is incredibly cool. And fellas, we're kind of got to wrap up here. Louis, Ed, and Jim, I've got to tell you, I absolutely love what you're doing. You three are some creative geniuses. I had an absolute blast looking at your shows, looking at the website and stuff. I got to tell you, keep up the good work, because I'm impressed as hell with what you guys are doing.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, we appreciate that.
And we're real happy to have you on today, and we're going to keep in touch and follow your progress in taking over the world. And we'll look to have you on maybe in another 6-8 months, and you can tell us how the world domination is going. But thank you so much, gentlemen, for being on the show. And with that, I'm going to have to wrap up Cult Pop, and I just remind everybody that if you want to see this episode again, or any other episode of Cult Pop, please just go to the website, www.cult-pop.com. And we look forward to seeing you next time.